Hey guys, what's going on? So I posted a video yesterday, and in it I was also talking about my S++ tier and why percentage damage is the best thing in this game currently. And it makes me think that maybe at some point all of the things that have percentage damage are just going to be regular damage stacks, at which point there will be just a regular, S tier, S+ tier. But the reason why I created an S++ tier is because the percentage damage is so far and away better than regular damage, because percentage damage is the same for the entirety of your gameplay experience. You will always be able to deal 100% of damage if your number is 100. If your number is like, deal 20% of the health, deal 20% of the health, deal 20% of the health, like, you will be able to deal 100% of damage because it always falls into the realm of 100 points, a 100 point scale. Whereas somebody who has to deal 100 damage, that's easy. Then you have to deal 1,000 damage. That's a little bit harder. Now you have to deal 10,000 damage. That's much harder. Now you have to deal 100,000 damage. That's a much harder. Now you have to deal 1 million damage. That's much harder. Now you have to deal 10 million damage. That's much harder. Now you have to deal 100 million damage. And unless you can scale to that health percentage, or that health increase that the monsters will continuously gain, which is what is supposed to end games, if your unit cannot scale damage that well, then you will just die to some percentage damage deck. And that is why I will always regard anything that deals percentage damage as an S++ card, because they are just playing on a completely different level than basically everything else that has regular damage. In the same way that damage stack units are playing on a completely different level than units with no damage stacks, like a Wind Archer. Like a Blade Dancer will always be better than a Wind Archer because it has damage stacks. It increases damage over the course of the game. Percentage damage decks increase forever, are the same forever. A Friend Gaming already posted a video of him battling one of his friends. Because I've been talking about this so much, I kind of wanted my own on this channel because I bring it up all the time. And until they change percentage damage, I'm telling you right now, you can think what you want about Red Riding Hood and Demon Hunter and Genie being so good. The reason why all the percentage damage dealers in this game that are legendary are in my S++ category is because of this gameplay. I'm going to speed through, let's say, 5 triple bosses. So I'm going to get to triple boss and then speed through 5 other triple bosses. This game is going to go on forever. And I know that even doing what I just said that I'm going to do, it's going to go on for so much longer than that. So we're going to get to triple bosses. We're going to count 5 triple bosses. And then we're going to play the game normal speed. This was the first triple boss. I think my brain just kind of paused out. This is second triple boss, I want to say. That's what we're going to go with. Third triple boss. Fourth triple boss. Fifth triple boss. Okay. I'm going to explain this deck, just in case you don't understand how this works. Corsair has 0 talents. This is your damage dealer. The faster he throws, the more percentage bombs he has the ability to throw, which, mind you, has already been nerfed. So he throws less bombs, less percentage bombs, but he throws a percentage bomb with a specific chance. And obviously that chance is increased if you can increase his attack speed, which is why the deck runs the Sharpened Spear Knight statue. It's the easiest way to basically cover your field in so that you don't necessarily have to run the 2 Knight statues. And then basically all you need to do is run the 1 Banshee in that spot, and it will basically nuke you're using it not for most of the abilities. The Decay ability is pretty good. Monsters within the Banshee's radius die at 25% health. Again, that is a percentage-based effect. So with your the damage that you're dealing with all of the Corsair's percentage bombs, when they are at 25% less health, the Banshee will auto-kill it. So it also acts as an Executioner, which was the original build of this deck. But it also has Banshee's Wail, which is obviously the reason why you run Banshee. It's the level 15 ability. It has a 5% higher chance of critical attack, which doesn't matter because you're not dealing damage with Banshee, but you're able to neutralize the boss effects when you activate Banshee's ability. So you just pick the boss that you don't want to get hit by. So essentially, this deck, because it runs Mermaid, it has the ability to not care about Dark Priest, King Pudding, Golem, because eventually, if the Golem goes all the way around, like, it will die. You're throwing bombs at such a furious rate that it will die. It doesn't care about, obviously, Tamer. Tribunals, I want to say, hurt, but they could. Tribunals can also free up board space, so there's that. So sometimes you want to get Tribunaled. The main big ones are like Grandmaster, merging 2 things, but at the same time, if you can get your units to level 7, then they can't merge those, so that's not even a thing at some point. I guess like Warlock, King Pudding is probably a bad one. I'm sorry, not King Pudding. Monkey King is probably a bad one. The simple idea of like slowly getting whittled down makes it makes having the scrapper has to work that much harder. Because if like your units goes from 7 to a 6, and you have to now upgrade that 1 unit, sometimes that's really difficult. And then, you know, that 6 can go down to a 5, and then you'll just keep hitting other things and wasting mana. But essentially, Bedlam is obviously completely terrible. So if you're basically always going to want a Banshee on your on Bedlams. But yeah, this is what this deck has the ability to do. It just goes for an infinite amount of waves. Basically, what starts to happen is you get too many like bosses that affect you in a row. So you'll get like double tribunaled. You'll be really late game and you'll get like double tribunaled. And then that, you know, all of your 7s will be a 6 into a 5. And then in the next round you'll get like Assassin and Warlock or something. I think eventually tribunals would eventually kill you. Or like a kitsune that you can't defeat that then summons in a bedlam would be really awkward if you were trying to neutralize. If they got like kitsune as a last boss, and they used the Banshee's Wail because the first boss was, or no, like they normally don't care about the first boss because there's enough Corsairs on the field to throw enough percentage bombs to auto-kill the first boss. But if the second boss was like a bedlam, you would activate the thing, and then you would kill it, but much later, because the first boss soaked up most of the percentage bombs. At which point you would activate it on the Banshee, or the second bedlam, and then if that last one was a kitsune, and then it summoned a bedlam, you would just die. And that's basically how the deck eventually just dies. That's how A-Friend Gaming died. It's a lot of like boss luck, and that's pretty much it. Because you have the ability to infinitely insta-kill the waves, and eventually it just comes down to boss luck, because bosses can soak up so much damage, and because there are 3 of them. And essentially your regular bombs start doing basically no damage, and you're basically killing everything with, because like Corsair in and of itself doesn't have stacks either, so his regular damage bombs eventually just stop doing anything, and you're essentially killing everything with your percentage bombs that you you throw not as consistently as you used to. But because you have such high attack speed, and because you have so many Corsairs, you're just throwing so many bombs at a furious rate that it's kind of like the Blade Dancer, the last talent on Blade Dancer. Even though that only activates with a 1% chance, you are attacking so fast with all of your Blade Dancers that it kind of feels like it activates all the time. That's essentially how the percentage bombs work on a Corsair, with this many level 7s on, a powered up Knight statue. There's also no reason, really, to get Knight statue stacks as opposed to the Riding Hood deck. The Riding Hood deck has 21 Knight statue stacks. The more Knight statue stacks that you can stack on that is contributing to Riding Hood's base damage. He has a 132 stacks right now, and this is to also showcase how quickly and efficiently a Riding Hood deck can obtain stacks. It runs Chemist as opposed to Trapper because you only need the 1 square, whereas with Trapper, if the Trapper doesn't throw the trap near the boss, you could die to a boss. But Chemist will always work, and you only need the 1 square for a Chemist to work. So you just need the 1 square, you get it to a level 7, and then you're good for the rest of this game. It's getting like red guide right now, and so that's going to be a pretty big negative for the Riding Hood deck. But the fact that he has the ability to then eat any Chemist that he summons in is very strong. Because obviously the only reason why the Riding Hood deck will eventually lose is you summon in too many Riding Hoods that turn into other Riding Hoods, and you just get like an awkward number of Riding Hoods. Because obviously you can eat everything else, you can't eat other Riding Hoods. This is how stack crazy a Riding Hood deck can be, and how much damage it can punch. It can like punch out. But when you're going up against something that has the ability to deal percentage damage, it's just working on a completely different kind of playing field than you are. It has the ability to where Corsair is not gaining any stacks, it has no talents, and it has the ability to deal this much damage. It is literally dealing every amount of damage in percentage damage. Because by this point in the game, his regular bombs, even a Corsair at max level, are not doing anything. Because he's not increasing that damage in any kind of way. The only thing that is killing everything is percentage damage. Dark Priest he doesn't care about. Krampus is kind of annoying, but I don't think you really care about that. You kind of care about the Warlock. You just don't want to get Warlocked. Like, losing a level 7 this late in the game would be pretty bad. Losing any part of this setup would be very bad. His main knight statue has no stacks. The one that has 18, that's not even his main knight statue. Krampus, Warlock, Monkey King. Obviously the Krampus you don't necessarily care about, but you do care about the Warlock and the Monkey King. So you basically just use it as soon as you get as soon as the Warlock comes out. That's when you just use the Banshee ability. The fact that he also has the ability to just sit here and do nothing once he sets up is another benefit to this deck. Every other deck that utilizes stacks, you have to continuously do something to make those stacks work. Riding Hood has to continuously eat things and summon in. This deck just needs to know when to use Banshee and when not to use Banshee. That's pretty much it. Again, Corsair has 0 talents. It is a base damage unit that happens to have a percentage-based damage, percentage-based thing as well. And this is how strong percentage-based damage is, as opposed to stacks. It's just in a completely different playing field than everything else. The one benefit to running Witch, I'm sorry, the secondary benefit to running Witch is obviously the second ability, because that works forever as well. The Unstable Magic ability. Insta-killing common monsters, the 3% chance of insta-killing common monsters, they're getting the benefit of being able to insta-kill things, and then having it on a knight statue, you're getting faster attack, so all of that is working towards being able to insta-kill monsters at any level. So that is another reason why these decks push this hard. It's not necessarily just the damage that the Witch has the ability to increase, it's the insta-killing monsters. Having that as a secondary ability, even if it doesn't activate all the time. Being able to kill, like, 1 billion, damage monster units, like regular units, is huge, late game. Like, these are 30 million regular monsters that you can potentially insta-kill this late in the game. That's pretty bad. Getting Warlock this late in the game. He can Dryad it and then just try to upgrade it. That was super lucky. My god, was that lucky. The Scrapper hit could have hit literally anything on the field and it makes it a level 3. That's so lucky. King Pudding, again, you don't really necessarily care about. You do care about the Monkey King, and you do care about the Assassins. You basically use it right here. Bedlam, Tribunal are really bad. So the fact that they had that second and third is very good for the Corsair player. It's when you get that random bad luck of having something really good first and something really good third. Like if you got a Tribunal first, you might still get hit by the Tribunal, and that's pretty bad for you. And then if you use, then you'd probably use it third. Or in between, like, second and third, if you didn't really care about the second one. Or maybe it's just, like, if you get 3 bad lucks in a row. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a part of me that, like, not so much the Meteor, or not so bad as the Meteor deck, but I'm trying to figure out ways in which this deck loses. And that's what I found with percentage damage decks. The Meteor deck, I just didn't understand how it loses. Like, it didn't care about anything. It didn't care, like, I wish I would have, like, videoed, Daddy Denzel's, like, gameplay. When I saw the first, like, when I saw him beat somebody that was in, like, the top 10, like, all the time. I think it was Carl Granis. But he beat somebody with, like, a maxed out deck, and it's because he was using a Meteor deck. And I was trying to figure out how the deck even loses, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, this one, it kind of makes sense. Like, if you get, like, really bad, luck with your bosses, like, there's just so many bosses that this deck doesn't even care about. And that is what marks, like, a really good deck. It's like, how many bosses do you care about? Like, if this boss happens and it hits you, like, do you die? And there's a number of bosses, but Banshee, again, like the level 15 ability, allows you to choose which boss you do not want to get hit by. Obviously, it's Bedlam. Like, you cannot get Bedlammed. And that's why if, like, a Bedlam is second, or a Bedlam is first, and then a Bedlam, or a Kitsune is, like, third or something, and then it goes into a Bedlam, that's why that becomes a problem, because you have to choose. And as a Riding Hood player, like, again, like, this person is having to make decisions constantly throughout this game. Like, they're constantly trying to figure out what to merge, hoping that, you know, like, when they merge, it doesn't become a problematic thing that they can't use. Trying to keep, like, the setup, or the base version of the setup. trying to merge onto tiles, or trying to eat onto tiles, so that you're getting full benefit from the growth tile and the knight statue and the witch, which is obviously this this bottom left one. That growth tile that's next to the witch on the sharpened spear is your best one. But it also has to like move away from that by eating something else, then summoning in something else. Like, it's constantly having to think. All the Banshee like Corsair deck does is just worry about bosses. That's it. It can auto kill everything because of percentage damage. It doesn't need to stack more as the game progresses. It doesn't need to do any more than it currently is. Like, you need to get like level 7, you know, Corsairs, but that's your setup and you're done. He's running this with the level 3 Banshee, because the Banshee level doesn't even matter. Banshee level doesn't matter. Stacks on a knight statue don't matter. Like, Corsair not having talents doesn't matter. It's literally just percentage damage. Like, I need you to understand why this is so insane. Oh, that's pretty bad. Yeah. He got Grandmastered. And the level 5... he got a level 5 in the center. That's definitely just gonna go to something else. He has the awkward level 7 in the corner. Wow. As a Riding Hood player, I would probably think that this is where... It's like, okay, I got him. Like, he got hit by a boss. Like, pretty badly hit by a boss. This is it. Like, this is my time to shine. I'm gonna win. Obviously, he doesn't. He... Like, this Corsair player comes back from this. Like, this is crazy. I like that he's not even running Fairy of Rage Dryad, because he doesn't, it wouldn't matter. Fairy of Rage increases your damage, but because you're doing percentage damage, it's just better to run Growth. That's so funny. It's like going up, like this deck just like goes against everything you know about this game. Everything that you think you know about this game, about like stacks and stacking damage and using support cards, like, it just shits on everything. Like, it's so funny to me. And like, until people like understand like how good percentage damage is, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, I did a video yesterday, and it was a person in the Discord complaining about like my S++ tier that obviously hadn't watched my video about why. And he was like, Riding Hood is S++. That's not an, you know, like, cause that's the top of the tier. You would think that all the best cards are at the top of the tier. And yes, they are. Percentage damage. It's a tier of their own. They deserve not just to be put at the top of the best tiered cards. Like, you know, like if I just had it as S+, they would be at the top of that tier. No. You don't understand. Like, I specifically created like this dumb sounding S++ tier. They're like, oh, it's not even S. It's not even S+. It's S++. I created this dumb sounding tier specifically to make you understand how good percentage damage is as a concept. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane.